Welcome to the Gaudium et Spes podcast. Every other week, we bring you Catholic teachings and stories of faith from people throughout the Diocese of Pensacola-Tallahassee. This is the Gaudium et Spes podcast.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Gaudium et Spes podcast. I am here with people this time around. I was here all by my lonesome last time because of COVID, but it's great to be joined by, to my left, our new co-host for the Gaudium et Spes podcast, who you met 2 episodes ago, Susanne McNinch. Welcome, Susanne.
Thank you so much, Chez. What an honor to be here today. And I tell you, I know I've got big shoes to fill, but I'm real excited about our guest that we have with us.
Yes, we are privileged to be joined by Amanda Jansen from Mother Clelia Morningstar High School here in Pensacola. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you, Chez and Susanne. It's so great to be here today.
Cool. Good to see you. I know you're all probably wondering what happened to Charmaine. We're not going to tell you. No, we're going to tell you. She is a woman of many talents, but also a woman of many responsibilities. So get the plain truth of it is she got crazy busy. And she's behind the scenes working as a producer and coordinating our podcast and stuff. But Susanne is going to be here joining you week in and week out with me and our other guests and Bishop Bill. So we're happy to have her. And I'm sure we'll get Charmaine back here as some kind of a guest at some point in time, but she is not missing. Don't go out looking for her. And as always, pick up the Catholic Compass to hear great work there, and then of course all of our diocesan communications. Well, cool. Let's get into it. It's the Gaudium et Spes podcast, so we always start with that first line from that great document, which goes, "The joys and the hopes, the griefs and anxieties of the men of this age, especially those who are poor or in any way afflicted. These are the joys and the hopes, the griefs and anxieties of the followers of Christ." So I'm going to start with you, Susanne. What you got? Joys and hopes, griefs and anxieties?
Yes.
Lately?
So I'm a glasses half full kind of girl, so I like to start out with the good things first. Okay. So recently I've been prom dress shopping with my daughter. Okay. Yes. So my daughter, Abby, is 16. She's a junior at Catholic High. And we went on our first outing to try to find a dress. So we tried on many. We didn't find the perfect one yet, but I'm excited that we'll get there. And I think the thing that's most wonderful is, as our children age, it's each new step that you get to do with them, I think is just something that you really get to look forward to. So yes. And on a sadder note, I'd like to give a shout out to our friends Ernest and Orion over in Houston, who unfortunately just experienced a loss from COVID. So our hearts go out to both of you, to your family, and we just want you to know that we love you and we're thinking about you.
Okay. Appreciate you sharing. What are the names again to pray for them?
Ernest and Orion. Thank
Amanda, what do you got?
So my joys and hopes from this week, I'm also a glasses half full person, is having all of our students back at school today. Unfortunately, last week we had to close Mother Clelia Morningstar High School because of COVID and sickness, and we didn't have the staff to remain open. But everybody returned today, and we were just so excited to have people back in the building. I guess another high would be last week I got a lot of admin work done. It was a very productive week, but I am not a work alone kind of person. So I was very happy to have everybody back in the building, healthy and ready to learn today. So that was great. Griefs and anxieties, more just anxieties. We're looking at registration and planning ahead for year 3, so it's really exciting. Yeah. But there's a lot of pressure, starting a new school and looking at how we're going to grow and the needs of our students and community as we get there. So navigating this COVID world and having to not have our students on campus last week was really hard, and just nervous, anxious, excited about our new school year. So.
Folks, pray for your administrators at your Catholic schools. This is a time,
teachers.
Exactly. This is a time of year. It is registration push, and it's just, you feel it. Because those numbers need to come in by February, March, where you start getting a real plan for next year. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Great. Well, cool. Joys, I always talk about my kids, but we have greatly excited. It hasn't happened yet, but our little Gabriel is getting baptized this Saturday. So he is passing from heathen status to little Christian soldier status. And the godparents for Gabriel are two of our oldest friends from our hometown of Melbourne, Paul and Sarah Cacciatore. And Paul is instrumental in my conversion to the faith. And Sarah and my wife were roommates in college, and it's just going to be beautiful. They have 2 kids. Our kids get along great, so we're looking forward to a super fun weekend with them. Lows, nothing serious. But if you're a sports fan, you get taught at an early age that sports teams betray you, and it's a tough moment. And today recording on Monday here, my son is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, like his grandparents, and he has only watched the Chiefs excel in his young life, and then they completely, totally, utterly blew the game yesterday. Yes. I don't know if you guys are.
We were watching it too.
Yeah.
Yes, we were watching it. I'm sorry to say that I was a huge Evan McPherson fan.
Okay, fair enough. And he did kick the game-winning field goal, so congratulations.
We have a lot of family in Missouri, so we were rooting for the Chiefs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's us. My father-in-law is from Kansas City, but my wife and her whole family spent a lot of time out there. So John Paul has been grafted onto that fandom. And just his face at the end of the game was like, I have been there so many times where you're just devastated and you can't recover from it. And it makes no difference to your life, but you're still just so anyhow. He recovered, though. He's fine.
I understand that being a Florida State graduate.
Yeah.
Ooh. Go Gators, sorry.
Oh, man. You're surrounded.
I know.
This is going to be an ongoing tension in mine and Suzanne's co-hosting this podcast. Can't you be an Alabama fan or something like that? Just enjoy life?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll pick a neutral.
Right.
We'll pick a neutral side at some point. So.
We're going to be miserable together for the foreseeable future.
There you go.
So that's nice. Great. Cool.
Well, great. Well, Amanda, let's go ahead and get started. So if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you become the director of this incredible high school?
Well, that is a interesting story. I always said I would never wanted to do admin. That sounds terrible. But God always laughs at our plans. So I am a Pensacola native. We actually go back 4 generations in Pensacola. So we have been here for the long haul. I am a graduate from St. John's and Catholic High School. I was at St. John's for 10 years, from preschool all the way through 8th grade. And then I went to Florida State and graduated from Florida State and came back to work in special education for the county, for Escambia County. And I loved it, but I also felt that the faith component was missing. So when Holy Spirit, my home parish, was starting their preschool, I was like, well, preschool in the county, preschool at the church. I jumped on the opportunity to take and lead their preschool. So we opened their preschool in 2018. And again, I really loved preschool, but then I missed special education. So when I found out that we, as a diocese, were looking at opening a special education high school, I was like, well, done the admin, and I've opened the school, and I love special education, so I applied for that position, and here we are, back in special education and in admin. So God had a very roundabout way of getting those skills built to open me up for this opportunity, which I'm very thankful for.
Well, wonderful. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about the Mother Clelia program?
So Mother Clelia Morningstar High School was really born out of this need for our Morningstar students to have somewhere to go to high school. We have thriving programs for Morningstar at St. John's and at Sacred Heart. And those students who loved their time in Catholic schools didn't have a good option for high school. If they couldn't survive at Catholic High, then they had to go to the public schools, and there was just no middle ground for them. So through the long hours of Dave Kimball and our feasibility committee, they came together and said, what is it going to take to open a special needs high school? And what should that look like? And what it is now is we're located on Catholic High School's campus. So we're able to give that Catholic high school environment. Catholic High has us over for lunches every day, for mass, for assemblies, for pep rallies, all extracurricular activities. But then we come back to our classrooms and we break down the curriculum into manageable pieces so that our students can get a regular high school diploma on a specialized curriculum for them and get the best of both worlds.
Wow,
beautiful.
That's really amazing. So how many students do you have enrolled in your program currently?
We currently have 20 students.
Okay.
We finished last year with 11. We gained one more in that class, so our second year class has 12 students, and then our first year's class our second year class have 13, and our first year's class have 7. I can't add to 20, I promise. So we have 20 students right now.
And then how many staff do you have supporting that?
I have 4 staff members, including myself. So I'm the director and the lead teacher. I'm teaching English and second year religion. We're doing scripture right now. Then I have a teacher doing math and science, and another teacher doing digital literacy, world history, and another religion. And she's also helping with our inclusion program at Catholic. And then I have an admin assistant who keeps me on track, handles our finances, parent communications, and just juggles all of the balls while keeping us afloat.
Wow, that's great.
So, I mean, a ton of us when we're growing up, we see our teachers, we see our favorite teacher. I think at some point, well, not everybody, but a lot of kids dabble in like, maybe I'll be a teacher one day, and the favorite subject they have or something. And we see the environment we're in, and so we can emulate in our mind. Special education, though, is not. Were you educated in a special education environment as a kid?
I was not.
Okay. Family members or anything like that? What is the motivation to get into special education?
It's another God story.
Okay.
I was very involved in youth group at Holy Spirit growing up. And there was a boy who came into youth group one day, and he had autism. And through working with him, I will never forget, we were playing Catholic Jeopardy, and he wanted to be on my team, and another kid wanted to be on our team, and everybody else was on another team. So it was the 3 of us against everybody else, and we totally beat them. But there was one question, and it was, what is the date of Christmas? What is the date? And I just remember working with him and helping him get to December 25th and helping him get that answer, and just seeing the joy and excitement on his face. And I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And so he kept coming, and I talked to his mom one day, and she got me hooked up with Autism Pensacola in their summer camp. And I volunteered. I was a junior going into a senior. And I volunteered for 2 weeks, and I went to the director and said, how do I do this for the rest of my life?
Wow.
And so I found the program at Florida State. It was a 5-year master's program. And I said, that's where I want to go. And coming from all Catholic school, my parents were a little bit nervous of wanting to go to this big secular party school. But we all had faith, and I got in, and I've never looked back.
Wow.
It's just, it was fate. It was my vocation. I just had to do it.
In your master's classes, did a lot of people have a similar story where it's like, this was my passion, or this was something that impacted me, and I wanted to do it from the get-go type of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Most people going into that profession have had an experience, a family member, have worked with students before, and it's a very rigorous program. It was half bachelor's, half master's for a year and a half. It was 18 credit hours. It was very intensive, and so it wasn't just I think I'll do special ed today kind of program. So it was a very cool experience to work with such a passionate group of teachers.
Yeah, most people that get into college and they're kind of feeling their way out for a few years, like maybe I'll make some money and earn a business degree, or maybe I'll get a psych degree or something that I like, and there's very little motivation happening. I'm just interested from a college student perspective. Like, it'd be so weird to be everyone's like dialed in, like this is a calling on my life. This is something I'm really passionate about. How that would be such a different educational experience.
It definitely was, but God had my back too, in that they only admitted students in the fall. So I had enough prereqs to start a spring semester, and I was ready to go straight through, but they wouldn't admit me. So I had to come up with some other classes. So I took multicultural film, I took racquetball, I got a minor in family and child sciences. I had to find other things to do in college. So it was really fun to have that experience as well, where I had to take other classes. I couldn't just focus, because it's my personality is just to laser in and do what needs to get done.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for my sophomore year of college. It was quite fun.
Well, growing up in Pensacola, obviously, then you had somewhat of a draw maybe to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
But what made you make that ultimate decision after graduation to come back to this area?
I really wanted to go somewhere else. I tried going to Tampa, and I interviewed there, and eventually I interviewed in Georgia, where my brother's in Atlanta, and looked around. But the opportunity was here. The county, I just felt the draw. I had a county contact, and she had given my name and resume to another principal, and they had kind of made the decision that that's where I needed to be. And so when I talked to them, like, you're home, you're here, welcome back. And it really just drew me in. It was just home. It's just the comforts of home.
Yeah.
So as much as I thought I wanted to get away, God had much bigger plans for me here.
Aww, very good. Very good. And you're so young to be a director. I mean, this is just phenomenal. I mean, I think it is a great testament to so many young people out there that, you know, if you've got goals, hopes, dreams, that just continue to press forward because you can accomplish anything. So, I mean, I think you're doing amazing work. It's really neat to see you as such a wonderful example to our young folks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a challenge, but it's definitely very rewarding.
Good.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah. Terrific.
Speaking of amazing examples, the namesake for the high school, Mother Clelia,
yes,
an obscure one. We have a lot of saint names, or a lot of people know St. Elizabeth Seton, patroness of education, and St. John Bosco, today we're recording our feast today, patron today, of so many different Catholic school endeavors. Who is Mother Clelia?
So Mother Clelia was just beatified in 2018, actually. So
Fresh.
She is the foundress of the Apostles of the Sacred Heart. And the Apostles of the Sacred Heart, we have several sisters here. Sister Margaret Ann is in the Morning Star program at St. John's, and Sister Kirsten at Catholic High School. Just have a strong devotion to education and to our students with special needs. They do have a special needs school up north that they run. And so when it came time to finding a namesake, they just felt very drawn to Mother Clelia.
Right. If you don't know, guys, you know them. But if you don't know them, the Apostles, I'm also my office next door neighbor, Sister Margaret Kuntz, the director of faith formation for the diocese. They've been here, I think, 35 years, and just been plugging away in Catholic education, Catholic formation and stuff. So a great blessing to our diocese. You see them, white habits, black veils. They live here in Pensacola. You'll see them all over the place and stuff. But yeah, it was a huge moment for their order a couple of years ago when Mother Clelia was beatified. And she's buried in Rome, I believe, Italian saint, foundress and stuff. And fairly recent too. She only died in like 1930 or something like that.
I want to say right around there.
Yeah. So another amazing. I don't want to always brag about Italian Catholicism, but we produce a lot of amazing people. We as in we.
And the order was very excited after her beatification. They had a large picture of her blown up and framed. And when we opened the school, Sister Kirsten's brother actually drove it down for us, and it's hanging in our building. So they gave us our picture of Mother Clelia that we get to show our students every day.
Wow.
Well, as was mentioned beforehand, a lot of us have a clear picture. We have memories of what a school classroom goes for 99% of people and stuff like that. A lot of us still have no idea, what is a Morning Star classroom like in high school? What are the needs of your students? How does a day go? What's it like? What's so cool about it?
So we really try to model our high school as a regular high school. They have classes. We switch classes. The main difference is our classes are very small. Our biggest class size is 12, and we still like to break them down into smaller groups. Our students may have any variety of disabilities, from just regular learning disabilities to autism, Down syndrome, dyslexia, or a combination of the above. Really, any disability that inhibits a student from accessing a regular curriculum. So our students need help with learning. Some of them need help with time management and organization, and just a slower curriculum. Some of our students need more diverse writing abilities. Like we have iPads, they're typing instead of writing. Some of them need text read to them. So we have just a variety of technology in the classrooms, from your smart boards to their iPads to, their devices will read to them if they need it. And just the small interactions with the teachers is really what sets us apart. So our small groups where they can sit down, 3 to 4 to a teacher and get that explicit instruction, especially in math and reading, that they really need. So we follow all the same classes. Right now, our freshmen are taking world geography and earth and space science. Our sophomores are taking biology and world history. But we use the Florida Access Points standards. So they take your regular high school standards and they break them down to what do you really need to know for that standard? So what's the smallest part? What is the most main concept that you need to know? And that's what we're teaching. So some of our students, have loved world geography. We really get to focus on culture and food and environment and just learning all about the world. And that was some of their favorite subjects. And they just really loved the hands-on and the small group atmosphere of school. And those students that hate math, we have whiteboard desks, so they get to do their math on their desks instead of pencil and paper all day.
Very smart.
They work with a lot of manipulatives. We had one working on positive and negative numbers, but instead of working on a piece of paper, we put tape on the floor, and she was hopping back and forth doing addition and subtraction with negative numbers, and she didn't even realize it with her number line on the floor. So we just get to really adapt any curriculum to their needs and what fits them best.
It sounds like a creative experience for a teacher and an administrator. It sounds like you're not just, all right, it's my 18th year teaching, I'm just going to do the exact same thing I did last year. It sounds like something that you're constantly looking for different avenues. And
yes, which is both very fun and can also be very exhausting. Sometimes we wish we could pull out of a book and just teach the next lesson, but that's not why we're here. Our students need the individual aspects. And we really get to know them. We get to know their families so well, and we get to know the students and what they like and don't like. And if they don't want to read, well, we get to find passages about their favorite topics, or we get to find problems that deal with their favorite activity, or and then we really get to tailor their rewards to their likes as well. So I'm a firm believer in positive reinforcement. I don't go to work every day just for the fun of it. I mean, I would, but it's really nice getting a paycheck too. So we look at, what are our students' paychecks? What do they earn from working? And for a lot of our students, a degree is lofty and it's not concrete enough. So we have, rewards and brain breaks that they earn and work towards every day. So we get to have a lot of fun too.
Yeah, good. Well, you mentioned that we have 2 Morning Star programs here in our Catholic schools at both St. John and Sacred Heart. Is that where a majority of your students come from, or do they come from other public schools or home schools? Or
we thought that's where the majority of them would come from, and that's where we were built towards. But we have students from all over the county and surrounding counties. We have students from Santa Rosa County as well. But I would say about half to a third of our students came from our Catholic schools. We have some I had calls from other local middle schools. We have some from Montessori, some from just all over the place. And so it's really cool that the word has gotten out and people are calling from more than just our Catholic schools to hear more about our program.
Good. So what is the process of becoming a student? How do you get enrolled?
So we do have preferential enrollment for our Catholic schools, since that is who we are built for. So right now we're opening enrollment for our current students to return. And last year we did have 100% retention of our students, which was really awesome, that everybody was happy and came back. So we are re-enrolling our current students. We will then open up to our Catholic schools. They'll have a chance to enroll, and then we'll open up to the public. So our website has a lot of great information on how to start that process. We do an application and a case history form, which just gives us information on the student, because the last thing we want to do is have a student come who doesn't need us, or we want to make sure that we are a good fit for our student and our student is a good fit for us. So there's an application process, and then there's an interview process. We sit down with all of our families and students ahead of time and get to know them and hear their concerns and anxieties and ask questions. And we get to give them a tour and information about our school. We also like to get documents from any screenings they've had done, their IEPs, their individualized education plans from other schools, and any of their student data, just to make sure that we are the right fit for them.
Oh, good.
So,
I'm assuming not all students are Catholic at Mother Clelia?
Actually not.
Okay.
I would say.
So this is what I wanted to ask, just like in terms of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
You got a special education degree from a secular university, and
Mm-hmm.
you also worked in public school
Mm-hmm.
before. Is there and you could shoot me down, I would think that there's kind of a Catholic difference in our approach to something so specialized.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's kind of the same across the
No,
board.
I really feel like as a diocesan school, we get to look at what are the needs of our students. We're still a business, and we still have bills we have to pay and things we have to do, but we really get to focus in and make decisions on what's best for our students and what's best for our staff. And that's really the difference for me, is I get to help make those decisions, and I get to look at their needs and advocate for them and for their best interest. But it's funny you bring up the Catholic component, because we're kind of a unique situation in the diocese where a lot of our schools enroll because they're a Catholic school. You know, there's lots of great public school options, but they choose to go to school for the Catholic environment, for the Catholic component. That's why my parents sent me there. That's why now my friends are sending their kids to Catholic schools. They go for that component. But for us, we find that a lot of our parents are coming because of our educational style, and then we get to evangelize to them the Catholic faith. So I would probably say maybe just over a fourth of our students are Catholic,
Okay.
or have made their, been through sacraments. We have one student that was confirmed last year, another one going through confirmation in her parish this year. But most of our students are not practicing Catholics. And so we really get to bring that faith component to them. A lot of them, this is their first experience of Catholic schools.
That's amazing.
So we get to bring them in, we catch them with our education style, and then we get to introduce them to Christ and to our faith. So it's a really unique experience in our Catholic schools.
This is what we do. This is what the church does. We enter the world, the arts, the sciences, the healthcare industry. We're just like, let's get up to speed, let's be experts, and let's bring Jesus into that element. And yeah, it's a perfect way of bringing, not just bring, because especially parents, I'm imagining the stresses of having a child with different various needs and stuff. It's just this, your heart bleeds for them in a different way than the average parent does, I would say. And to provide a service for them that's so exceptionally tailored to their needs, it's just something that they're never going to forget. And be like, oh, the Catholic Church is just kind of whatever. It's like, the Catholic Church did this for me at this critical moment in my child's life. I'm assuming they appreciate you. You get some good feedback from parents.
Absolutely, we definitely do. And just another plug there is we had a student who was confirmed last year who actually used an adaptive confirmation curriculum. So there are adaptive curriculums out there that you can work with your parish to complete. So he didn't necessarily complete the regular confirmation classes, but worked with his mom at home on this curriculum, and then was able to attend part of their confirmation retreat, and then was then confirmed with his class at Mass. So it was very cool that he was able to do that. And they do make them for all of the sacraments. So our students are able to access sacrament prep in a more hands-on way as well.
Wow.
What else we got here? We did want to hear that. So guys, COVID is still a reality. We were planning on having an actual student from the Morning Star High School come in and give testimony to what their experience has been. But Amanda saved our bacon and provided some actual written testimonies that you're going to provide for us just based on their 18 months of time at Mother Clelia. So
yes, my students were very excited when I had them do a writing assignment today about their experience with school. But I loved seeing some of their answers. So I asked them what their favorite memory or activity from high school was so far. So we've been open a year and a half, and it has not been your typical year and a half. We actually would not be here without Catholic High School. We were in their library until February, so we're just now coming on our first anniversary of being in our own space. So we thank them for all of their patience and generosity as we got opened. But from our time in the library, there to moving into our own building and kind of just now getting our feet under us in our new space. We come up on a year this month, so starting in February. But they all spoke so highly of our relationship with Catholic High. Mm-hmm. Some of them said their favorite experience was lunch. So we all go to lunch at Catholic, and we sit at our own little teacher table, and they get to spread out into the cafeteria, and they just get to fit in. They just get to blend in and be a regular high schooler. They loved the pep rallies. We actually got to do pep rallies this year, so they loved cheering and dancing. We had a student on their dance team.
Cool.
Yes.
So that was really exciting, just to see Catholic High's response to having her on their team as well. One day our students were playing in the gym with another PE class, and somebody came in like, "Oh, which ones are your students?" And I was like, "They're in there. It doesn't matter. They're just playing," and they just blended right in with all of the high schoolers, and they love feeling a part of the Catholic High community. Mm-hmm. And then some of the other ones said anime club. There wasn't an anime club at Catholic.
Hello.
So we started one. We told them if they would put forth the work that we would host and start their own club. So they started their own club, and they love that. So they pick the content and they run their own club.
Wow.
So they love that. What else did we have? They said they love the smaller group education and the energy and quality of the education they're receiving. Mm-hmm. And then one of them said being able just to switch back from Catholic to Morning Star. She loves being able to get her curriculum and understand it and not have the stress of high school, but loves being able to go back. When they went for PE, she really loved the encouragement of playing volleyball with her friends. Mm. So I'm very thankful for that. We also did the freshman and sophomore retreats with Catholic High this year. So they got to blend in small groups and participate in retreat. And some of our students have more physical disabilities, and we have some with cerebral palsy and spina bifida and different disabilities. And watching them play games and running around, and one of them fell, and I kind of caught my breath a little bit, and she got back up and went right back to it. They're so resilient, and they just love playing with their peers. They just love the friendships they're making. So I also asked them why it's important to attend a Catholic high school instead of a regular public high school. And they all said because they get to grow closer to Jesus, that they get to grow closer to God. And, we have some from, like I said, from all different walks of life, for those who attend Mass, to have gone to Mass sometimes but don't attend regularly, who are of different faiths and different beliefs, and they just really love the religion component that we bring. So they it's really awesome to see. They're just really growing and learning, and I love it.
I can imagine. Do you have any that will be graduating this year?
We do. We have one student who came to us with previous high school credits, but was able to finish his credits with us, and he'll be graduating in the spring. So we will have our first graduate this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
Does he have any plans after high school that you know of?
We're still working on that.
Okay.
He's not sure what he wants to do yet.
Okay.
But there's so many community programs that we're getting together for him to get all of his options together. And there's really, really awesome paths for our kids to take. There's so many more opportunities for our students now than there ever have been. Mm-hmm. So a lot of postgraduate opportunities.
Well, we've heard a lot about how you're kind of on an upward trajectory, but I'm assuming you probably could use some support or other ideas out there. How can the diocese, how can the community of the faithful in our diocese support you guys?
Absolutely. I cannot go any further without thanking Bishop Bill and Mr. Ed Largaspada, our CFO, our superintendent, Mr. Juhas, and especially Dave Kimball. Those four men have really put forth so much work and time and prayer into our high school. The diocese has been just an endless supporter of our mission and our students, and we wouldn't be anywhere without them. We wouldn't be a school, and our students wouldn't have this experience. But there's always like you said, room to grow. We are rapidly growing, and I believe we will have a wait list this year because of just our building size. You know, we are in a 2-classroom modular. So as my school advisory committee is looking at how can we expand? You know, what can we do? What can we do right now so that we can continue this education of our students without having to stop? And then how, you know, what's our 5-year plan? What are we looking at? What's our long-term goals? We really would love to open up a kind of a transition program, a life skills program. I would love to build a little mock house and have cooking classes and laundry classes and, you know, making beds and just keeping up with daily chores so that our students are prepared for life skills outside of the classroom to be able to do more than just classroom skills. We do classroom jobs. They have to apply and interview and hold a classroom job, whether it's passing out papers or area management. So they have to check out the facilities and make sure that we have paper towels and toilet paper and everything stocked. And if they do their job well, then they get paid every 2 weeks, and we have a school store. So we work on some job skills and tasks within our classroom. But we do have other opportunities for people to get involved. We are always looking for volunteers and subs. We could really use some substitute teachers if anybody is interested in coming to hang out with what I think are the coolest students in the diocese.
Do you need special education experience?
You do not.
Okay.
You don't need it.
Do you hear that, everybody?
You don't need a teaching certificate. You don't need special education. You just need a heart for kids and a little bit of patience and fingerprints.
Okay. That is very important.
We need fingerprints. But no, it doesn't take anything special. Okay. Just a little bit of heart to come in and work with our students. And then there's also financial opportunities. Our tuition, to have such small groups, our tuition is over $12,000 a year. And the state does have really good scholarship programs, but that still leaves our parents with $3,000 to $4,000 a year. So we are starting an Adopt a Student program. So if anybody would like to donate money towards a student's education, we have some families work 3 jobs. We have a single mom working 3 jobs to send their student to our school. So we could really use some financial aid for our students, as well as our building project we're going to be coming up on. We really need to expand and fundraise for a new building so we can continue growing and continue expanding and serving more students. I'd love to see 60 to 70. I'd love to have 10 students a year come in and continue to grow to 60 to 70 students. Wow.
It's not like there's only 20 kids who have these kinds of needs in our Pensacola area. There's hundreds, thousands probably.
Yes, and our school is so unique that parents are searching far and wide and coming from Pace and Gulf Breeze and West Pensacola and everywhere just to get in our doors.
So we need people. We need bodies.
We need bodies.
We need space.
We need lots of space.
We need donors.
Yes.
People, spread the word. And of course, guys, if you know anybody, if you're listening to this podcast, if you have anybody in your family, or you know a neighbor, or you know an extended family member, anyone within a 30, 45-minute drive of this area, and they have not heard about Mother Clelia, please give them Amanda's information.
Yes.
Go to the school website and man, I'm sure it would be something. It could be an incredible blessing, a life-changing blessing for a family that hasn't heard of something like this before.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, guys, it's Catholic Schools Week. Did we even plan this?
No, it just.
I thought you did. I was giving you credit.
No. This is true inspiration by the Holy Spirit. That Susanne and Charmaine actually thought of this topic and this guest to have, and it's totally providential. As we were talking, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Catholic Schools Week!"
It is. We're celebrating our community today.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jesus is alive. The Lord Jesus is working through the ministry of Catholic schools in our diocese as He always has, and He will continue to do so in the future. And this is, Amanda, just an exemplary testimony to how the mission of Catholic schools is just totally unique and totally beautiful. So we're really grateful for your presence here and sharing what you got.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and sharing our mission.
Thank you.
We were very passionate about it, and we love our small little school, but we want to continue to grow.
Heck yeah. Mother Clelia, pray for us. Guys, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and you know who's coming back. It is Bishop. He's going to start his own Bible adventure, and if you didn't catch the last episode, he's introducing his series on the Scriptures, and he'll be covering the first 5 books of the Holy Scriptures in the Old Testament, which I can maybe name off the top of my head: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Did we do that? Yeah. All right.
Good
Great.
job.
So please tune in a couple weeks, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in today to the Gaudium et Spes podcast. If you would like to know more about our podcast, please visit gaudiumetspes.net or go to ptdiocese.org and click the button that says podcast. If you listen to the audio version from an app such as iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify, be sure and rate, review, and comment. If you watched us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe or leave us a comment there as well. Thank you for joining us.